Hey, thank you for watching my video. I'm VolleyTank. We're going to be installing Windows 3.11 in QEMU. You can see here I'm using version 5.2, and we're on Debian testing, which is targeted. Mine's targeted towards Bullseye. So once the freeze is done, it'll just be Bullseye. But we're going to install Windows 3.11 in QEMU. It's a lot different than my last video. I don't know what they did in libvirt, but there's definitely some changes. It's a little bit more difficult to do. But I did get some other things working like SVGA, so you can have a bit better resolution. It's pretty nice overall. I'm going to preface saying that you guys are going to have access to all the same images and everything that I have. We have the 3.11 pack here. There's an ISO that you guys will have that will have all this stuff on here. In my notes that'll go along with this, it'll have an explanation for what these are, along with some URLs where I got some of this stuff, and kind of help you get an idea of what they're used for. So the first thing I'm going to show us how to do is how to make an ISO image. So we have the 3.11 pack here, which is what we're going to supply to you guys. But let's say you had another program that you wanted to put in there. All you would do is, let's take SVGA, for example. You'd move it over to, we're going to copy it over to our 3.11 pack here. And we're going to use gen ISO image. I showed you how to do this in our last one, but in case you didn't watch the last one, because this one kind of supersedes it, you don't need to watch the last one. We're just going to do home, desktop. Our output, we're going to say 3.11 pack 1.iso. And for our input, we're going to do home, desktop, 3.11 pack. And it'll generate us an ISO, so we can use Arc to open that. And you can see that it has everything exactly the way that we want it, along with SVGA. So that's how you can add your own programs. Because I'm going to give you guys some links in the description of some other good sources you can get stuff, but as far as what I've found out, these are kind of all that's necessary. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that you're going to need to do is install these bridge utils and virt manager if you haven't already. That will give you QEMU and some bridge stuff. I've already done it, so I don't have to do it again. But after that, after you download that software, we are going to have to go and fix our bridge. So we're going to do a sudo vim etc network / interfaces. And I've already done this, so I just commented it out, but this is typically what you'll have once you install Debian. This is just kind of basic. And what you're going to do is change this to manual. You'll input the stuff I have over here from the notes, and you'll just close this. And then what we'll want to do is, if you don't have if config, and some of these you'll have to do sudo apt install nettools. That's what that package gives you. These you can also do like IPA. I like if config. Anyways, what we're going to do, sudo if down. We're going to bring our interface down so it will be gone. And then what we're going to do is bring it back up. And we should see that we have it, and it doesn't have an IP address. It shouldn't pull an IP address because we have it set to manual. And then we're going to bring our bridge up, VM bro. You can name it bro. You can name it really whatever you want. And it should get an IP address. And there we go. We should be able to connect through the bridge. Hey, Google. My phone. My phone answered me like, what up, bro? What do you need? So now that we have our bridge set up, we're going to go and we will open Virtual Machine Manager. This is how we're going to set up our virtual machine. This is actually the directory that we're going to be working in, Windows 3.11. You guys will have all these files that install this. These are DOS, and this is our CD-ROM driver. This is Windows 3.11, and this is our driver pack. What we're going to do, we'll just do manual install, I think. We'll just set it up later. So we're going to do generic OS. We want to make sure we don't go higher than 64. It's not going to be able to read anything. One CPU is fine. That's all they had back then. So this part, when we get to a storage, we want to select or create a custom storage. So I'm going to go ahead and delete our directory here. We're going to remove, I'll show you how to put one in if you haven't already. So we'll add a new pool. We'll call it Windows 3.11. We'll just browse to my home. Where was that? I had that in VM. I had it in Windows 3.11. We'll just open that. And that's how you create a pool. So there's some stuff in here that I had from testing this out. But what we want to do is create a volume. We'll do Windows 3.11. I'm going to use raw. You can use QCal if you want. I just like raw. it doesn't really matter. You're not going to see really a performance benefit. We'll choose that volume, go forward. Wait, what did I name that? 3.11? Yeah, that's good. Okay, Windows 3.11. We're going to customize, and for a network, yeah, bridge VM, bro. That's fine. We're going to change some things here. CPUs. We do not want to copy host. We actually want 486. Apply that. Memory, boot options. We want to add a floppy. We'll add this one as our floppy. Finish. And we want to add, I'm going to add 2 CDs. This is just the way that I do it. You can add 1 CD and swap them in and out as you need, but I like to add 2 CDs. Makes things a little quicker. So yeah, our 3.11 pack is our drivers. We'll add that as a CD-ROM. Our NIC, we want this to be PCNet. This we can change to SVGA16. We don't have to worry about PC speaker or anything because we're not really going to be using this for too much. I just use it for the initial setup because it's easier. We're going to begin installation. Actually, let's go ahead and force this off. I did not set the boot from floppy. So this says if you can't boot from disk, boot from floppy. That's the way we want it. We're just going to click enter. I'm actually going to change the view here. I'm going to scale so that we can see it a little bit better. Make it a little easier on you guys to see. Configure unallocated disk space. We only use the 2 gig because that's all that, you know, DOS could use back then. Using, I think it's FAT32. These settings are correct. We're gonna install it into DOS. So we need to set up this too. So this is why I use libvirt, because it's super easy. We can just go over here to the floppy. Yours may not be in that easy menu. You just click browse, find your floppy, continue. We'll just apply. We can go back, hit enter. All right, now for disk 3, just do the same thing. Apply, enter. You know, if you guys like the tutorial, you know, make sure to like and subscribe and all that helps me out. We're gonna try to run through DOS, Windows 3.11, and then go 95, 98, Windows XP, and all that cool stuff, and maybe some, you know, some other fun stuff in between. So yeah, we just restart. Now what we want to do is we want to change this because we have DOS installed. We're gonna change it to CD-ROM image, which is our driver. We'll bring up our notes here. So what we want to do is we can go copy a / cd1.sys to c DOS cd1.sys. DOS isn't case sensitive, so it really doesn't matter. Well, maybe it is. Oh, wait. Well, I'm thinking Linux commands. So it's actually copy. It's not CP. That is my bad. So one file is copied. So now we want to edit the config.sys. So everyone makes some mistakes every now and again. All right, so we're just going to input what is in the notes here under each section. SCD001. I wonder if this is how they did it back in the day. I don't really remember. I didn't use it too much. autoexec.bat is next. Looks good. Well, it will tell us if it is not. And then we're just going to force reset it here. There's no shutdown or reboot command. So then if we're lucky, we'll have access to our CD drives. It does take a while. The CD drivers are slow for some reason. Not exactly sure why. So now we can go and access the, and it will take a while to do this again. Let's just make sure we're in the right place. This should be Windows. So they're going to be D and E. Yeah, it's Windows. What we want to do is go ahead and install Windows. So we just hit setup. So the first time you access the disk, it takes a while, but subsequent accesses after that, as long as the machine hasn't been rebooted, it doesn't take that long. Also, you can see up here, it always uses a lot of, like 100% of one core. There's some stuff in the driver disk that's actually for that, but we're not going to install that in this tutorial. But you can look through that if you want to use this as like a long-lasting setup. We'll just go hit enter and do the express setup. Nothing crazy for us. So some parts of this does take a while. And I was noticing that if I touch my scroll wheel, it'll freak out. So maybe stay away from your scroll wheel while you're inside the virtual machine. I don't know if that's my mouse or if libvirt's doing something or if Windows is doing something, but I just try to stay away from it. This is giving me a lot of problems. So the way that we do this is we install Windows first, and then we'll install SoundBlaster because SoundBlaster wants the Windows path. It may be possible to install it first, I don't know. We'll go ahead and install Microsoft Network. So for sharing, we want to turn these off. If we leave these on, we can't install SVGA. I mean, we can install SVGA, it's just going to be very glitchy. So now we're going to install our network card. To browse, so we know our drivers are on E. Windows for workgroups, okay. PC net. Now we want to add a protocol. It's going to be our TCP IP. Go back to the root. Click OK. Click OK. Gonna install. Now we can go down here. We can go set as default. Oh, that's not what we want to double click the protocol. Enable DHCP. Yes. Okay. Close. Continue. Hit Windows 3.11. We'll hit OK. None of the above. And OK. I don't remember why, but that's how I did it in my other one, so we're just going to follow that. Skip tutorial. Restart computer. Easy peasy. Now we're going to install SoundBlaster. Super easy to install. Wait on the CD drivers. We wait forever. Pretty straightforward process, but I mean, if you want to use this for gaming or something, you want to do like retro gaming, you're probably going to be better off using DOSBox. I mean, DOSBox is probably going to be more performant. I haven't done anything other than like ski free, and your mileage may vary. If that's something you want to explore, feel free to, you know, hit me up in the comments. Let me know how it goes. We're going to run into some issues here, and I want to know if any of you geniuses on YouTube can help me. We just hit enter if the settings are correct. I think that they're correct. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, probably good. And we just proceed. We're going to reboot F10 booting system. And from here, this is where normally, like from the last one, you would just type win and boot, but it's not going to work. It'll just freeze there for whatever reason. I don't know what libvirt's doing. We can actually get rid of this. So we're going to go over some settings here. Let me go ahead and force this off. So some things that I tried to get it to boot is changing this to QEMU, and then you have to set something under the CPU, and everything acts real slow, and it does kind of work, but networking doesn't work. So at this point, we're going to actually stop using libvirt. No, I don't want to apply them. We'll just close out. And this is where we will, wait, that's not even actually our working directory. We are in VM. So let's go ahead and head over to there. So here's all of our files that we've been using. And then I have this Windows script. We've made a QEMU script. So here's some things that you need. This says if you're not root, please run with sudo. Don't run as the root user, run it as your user using sudo, because it's going to pull your username right here. And if you're root, it'll just pull root, and it's not going to work. So what this script is going to do is, if you don't have this directory in your root home, it's going to make it. And then it's going to copy your Pulse Audio cookie file over to root, so root can access that. And it's telling it what server to use for audio. And basically, we just have a very simple system here that uses PCNet, VMware, SVGA. You can change the directories yourself. We can actually put sudo user there. I might do that when I give the script to you guys. I don't know, but you can hard code it as well. So you just put your pass to your Windows image here for the hard drive and your CD-ROM here. And then if you try to run it, it'll say please run with sudo. So you're going to want to do that. So if any of y'all know how to get it to work with libvirt, you know, please let me know. You can try. I've tried and just kind of gave up, so I went this route. I don't know why it doesn't work. I know it doesn't boot because of KVM acceleration, but if you turn that off, the network cards don't work in libvirt. So I don't really know what is up, but we will run win. And it's probably going to be real loud right here. If it's too loud, I'll fix that for you guys. But we can just hit OK, no, and we got our system. We are up. So the next thing that we want to do is install SVGA. So how we're going to do that, we're going to hit a DOS prompt here. I think it's in D. Well, ls. Make directory SVGA. So then we want to copy E SVGA to C Windows SVGA. Invalid drive. Oh, so since we're not in libvirt and now we're in QEMU, we only have one drive, so it's actually going to be D. I should have known that. You can add another drive in there if you want, though. It'll take a minute to read the drive. It's very important that you turned off the printer and file sharing, because if you don't, this is not going to be good. CD SVGA. So now what we want to do is you can do a directory P, and we can see all the files that we have. This SVGA 256 DRV is our driver. That's what we're going to use. But we need to patch it for this to work. So we have the VGA patch, and you can read the VGA patch.txt. It'll tell you kind of all the things that I've already told you about this, plus some more. But the way that you're going to use this is VGA patch P. Hey, completed. So now we can exit, and we can go to our Windows setup. We're going to go options, system setups, VGA. We're going to tell it other display. We can say C/Windows/SVGA, because that's where we just patched it. And it's going to give us this. And we'll use ET 400 1024 768. And we should have a better resolution here. And that's how we do that. So now we have SVGA. There's no passwords list. No, I don't want to create one. And just so you know, we can ping Google in here. We do all that good stuff. We can make this bigger now so that we can see more stuff. I didn't want to make that bigger. I actually wanted to close this. I mean, what you want to do now is up to you. I'm going to go to the file manager and I'm going to install some more stuff. So we got disk 1 here. This is the games BOEP Best of Windows Entertainment Pack. I didn't really have to say that because it's going to tell us here. So we'll just go continue. We'll install it to C BOEP. And this will give us our great games like Ski Free and Free Sale. There's this rodent game that I love. Yeah, you can see the sounds are working. Everything's working. Setup successful. Yes. So I think, which one was it that has some sound? I think it's Chips Challenge has some sound. Guess not. I guess the sound doesn't work. Some of the sounds work, but our games are working. We've got classic Ski Free right here. I used to play this game a lot when I was a kid on my grandpa's computer. He had a Windows 3.1 computer. So it's a lot of nostalgia for me. And then that monster comes and eats you. And then Rodent Revenge is one of my favorites because the premise is really easy. Really simple. You're this mouse and you have to trap these cats. So you just wait for this dude to come over and then, oh my God, I already messed up, but you basically just trap him and turn him into cheese. Damn it. I'm usually better at this, but I'm under pressure. So yeah, that's how you do it, and then more cats come, and you can get that cheese, and it'll give you points. That's like, that was one of my favorite games as a kid. But anyways, we got stuff to do. So what we want to install next is going to probably be, I think it's in our root. We're gonna hit up Internet Explorer. So there's a lot of stuff over here that you can even use for the interface RT8139. I don't know if it works. I haven't tested it. It didn't work previously, but now that we're doing this method, it may work since it's not through libvirt. I don't know. You guys can test all this stuff out. It's real easy to set up. A lot of this stuff takes a long time. I don't know. I'm just glad that we got SVGA finally working, so we have a little bit more room, because it was kind of tight in there, We can do some zoom to fit. We can stretch this up. There we go. So now it's like, feels like, more of a real computer. It looks a little worse when you stretch it like this, but I think it's easier to deal with. At least we have a decent resolution. It's better than the default for sure. And like I said, I haven't installed Doom or anything on this, so I don't exactly know how those games are going to perform. I wouldn't imagine that they would perform well. You're probably going to be better off running those kind of games through something like DOSBox, which I might do some installs of this stuff later on DOSBox and make a tutorial on that and see how that goes. Probably better. QEMU and libvirt kind of don't really seem to be built to do this kind of thing. They're just like not very good at it. As you can see how slow this is going. I mean, why? Why would I abort it? Yeah, it's just going mega slow. So, I've had this process go pretty quick before, so I'm not sure what the problem is. It's just really weird running Windows 3.11. I would assume Windows 95 and Windows 98 probably going to be similar, but I'm going to run through those. Those will probably be the next couple of videos that I do. I plan on releasing probably about one video a week, right? That's realistic. So I'm going to release on Saturdays. And any questions you guys have on this, or if you have any input on anything I'm doing that I could be doing better. I'm not a wizard on QEMU scripts or anything, so this is just what kind of I came up with. I don't know what the right way is. I'm sure copying that cookie to the root's home probably isn't the right way to be handling pulse audio, but I couldn't think of any other way to do it. So because you need to run it as root for the tap if you want networking. So we're not going to do full install because it gives you this stack and dialer, and it's super annoying. We're just going to do standard install and get Internet Explorer 5. We don't need any of the other stuff. Sometimes I wonder if I even clicked something in here or if I'm just crazy. I'm fairly certain that I clicked it, yeah. So we'll go next, install. It shouldn't take too long because we're just doing Internet Explorer. It's a real small file. Everything was small back here, back in these days. We do have E1000. I don't know why I'm pointing. You guys can't see that. We have E1000 over here. That's a DOS driver. I've never really played with it. Couldn't find one for Windows 3.11. Maybe you guys could find one. You could use the E1000 network card. Maybe that would make things with libvirt a little easier. If you do try to go that path, let me know. I'm curious as how that will end up. It is necessary to reboot your computer. All right. Well, at least we know the sound's working. That's working. I think you can actually take the CDs out if you're done with them, and it'll make this thing boot a little faster. But it's really not too bad. That noise is beautiful. I mean, you should be able to access the internet. You're not going to be able to get to a whole lot of pages because things just, they're not designed to work like they were back then. So anything that's more advanced than like some regular HTML, I think is going to not be able to work. Like I tried to get to like 4chan, that didn't even work. That's one of the most simple sites I could think of. But Google works, so you can search stuff. I tried Wikipedia, that didn't work. You guys can play around and see what kind of stuff still works. But we have our Internet Explorer. It may crash. Okay, but it didn't. It's gonna take a while because it's not gonna. This site doesn't exist anymore. So what we're gonna do is we're going to minimize this real quick. If your web browser crashes right here, what you want to do is go to Control Panel, Internet, and you want to just take this out and replace it with www.google.com. www is necessary. It won't work without it, because web browsers back then are stupid. So if it crashes, change your home page and it won't crash. .com. So, you know, there you go. Some things didn't work. You can search whatever you want to. In the future, don't show this. And, you know, it's the real internet. It gives us QEMU. We're accessing the real internet through Windows 3.11. So there you go, guys. That's the basic install. You guys can play around from there, but I got you this far. I'm going to give y'all all the information, the notes, and a link in the description. You know, make sure you like, subscribe to the video, and I'll definitely make some more. Thank you all for watching.